Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast, Our New Narrative with Andre Davis, and got my friend Mark here who's saying something to you. Mark, back up so they can see your t-shirt. Something the revolution, right?
Yeah, this is Lenin on the short for anybody who did not recognize that face. For me, it's very familiar face. Or my youth, I was wearing that face on little pin on my lap also.
Hey, y'all need to listen to Mark. That's why I'm bringing him to you. Now, today is, what is today? September the 3rd. And we're going to get right into this. This is a follow-up. This is part 2 of Socialism versus Capitalism. And right now, socialism is down 0 to 3. And we got 3 subjects we're going to cover today. But 3 more subjects we're going to cover today. But before I get into that, I want to ask you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit that like button, the subscribe button, and share it with someone you love, someone you don't love. That's JW down the street, your mailman, whoever. Share this content with somebody. You're getting something out of it. And all right, so we're going to start off again. Basically, we're just trying to give you a personal, Mark is bringing personal knowledge of how bad a socialist Marxist regime can be. The same policies that these people are marching in the streets demanding, this man ran away from. And, now he's living in America and seeing these policies coming over the horizon. And he's hoping, like myself, that they don't make it all the way over. So with that said, Mark's going to start us off by talking about job opportunity, assignments, and compensation in the USSR.
Hello, everyone. So to start the topic of the jobs, that was very regulated, obviously, in socialist society, I will start from the graduation point. So once you graduate a institution, it could be a graduate or undergrad or even just a technical school, the job initially would be assigned to you. The institutions typically belong to certain ministry of some industry, and that ministry would take care of you per se by assigning you a job. Unfortunately, for the assignee, you did not have any control on the job you were assigned or area in the huge country. By the way, on the side of the country, for people who don't know, in Russia, you have 10 time zones, not 3, 10. Between the European side and Far East, there is a 10-hour difference. So you can be living in Ukraine and find yourself in very, very far east, very far from your family and friends for the 3 years assignment after college because government assigned you the job and you have to do it. You will be jailed if you don't.
Hey, let me ask you something. So you got someone assigning you your duty. Now, is this similar to the situation where, let's say, I was assigned a duty to go and pick tobacco by a certain person, and I didn't want to pick the tobacco by a certain person, but for that certain person, so that person could jail me, beat me, or whatever. But if I did pick the tobacco for that certain person, that person would take care of me by providing me with housing, clothing, shelter. Is that kind of what was going on?
Very similar. You're driving here a very interesting point that this is a very similar situation, because just like that, you cannot regulate your, your free will. You cannot say, I cannot refuse the job, just like in the example that you brought in. You could not be choosing your own job assignment in a social regime.
Yeah. So hey, as a recruiter, I recruited for legal professionals and Jesus, technical professionals. The choice is yours. Here, as a little kid, no matter what's going on, you could choose what you hear when you're growing up. What do you want to be? Fireman, astronaut, the choice is yours. So is that 4-0 for capitalism?
Yeah, absolutely. My daughter just graduated college and she's having 3 different offers and she's looking into which one is better, and then she having that kind of problem. Totally opposite from what we used to have in socialism.
Hey, all right. So let's move on to vacation. Since, you know, we all love a good vacation. I know I do. What was vacation like there?
Vacation in Soviet Union was very interesting topic. So because the resources are limited, and in socialism it's very vivid how limited those resources are, government did build some vacation destinations, but the vacation destinations were vouchers, right? So you get a very limited amount of those vouchers per organization. And who is going to be first in line for the vouchers? Party members or people in somehow, you know, good relationship, or doing some kind of favors to party members. So your chances of getting that relatively free government paid vacation would be very low. So you would need to prepare to spend almost the entire annual savings, which were too much in terms of compensation. We didn't touch compensation extensively in the previous chapter, but so you would spend a lot of money on trying to find on the black market some kind of people who would rent you a room in their private house in those cities that are bordering some kind of sea shores like Black Sea or Baltics in Russian scenario. And then you would take your family there on public transportation. Most people didn't own cars, so the driving was almost not an option. You would drive buses or trains, rarely planes. Planes were expensive and pretty scarce in order to get to vacation. So you spend a couple of days on the road in trains to the vacation, a couple of days back. So you have maximum of 10 days per year of doing that, saying, plus you spend all your money that you saved throughout the year. And yeah, that was the dream vacation. People still enjoyed it, right? I mean, vacation is vacation. I remember my youth as being very positive, right? And thinking so about the socialism is the best, or USSR is the best country in the world. But that's because of no perspective. Go ahead.
Everything is relative, because, hey, when I was a kid, from Detroit, me and my mom just went to Montreal, and I lived in Detroit, and everybody had a car. Like my uncles, both uncles had, my uncle and aunt both had Cadillacs, and my other uncle and aunt both had Cadillacs. So this is us in the 80s. You know, supposedly the mass media tell you we've been repressed, suppressed, and, you know, everything's gloom and doom. But even in the even for us, suppressed people, right, under the iron foot of oppression, capitalism has allowed us to materially prosper relative to the USSR without capitalism, and these people can't even go on vacation properly. So again, I think capitalism, was that 5?
It's already 5.
5-0. All right. Now, the last topic of the day is retirement. And with this gray hair, I'm getting really interested in retirement. So take it away, Mark.
Yeah, here I will start on the positive thing with the retirement, right? The Soviet Union retirement age was relatively low. It was 65 for men and 60 for women. However, the payout upon the retirement was almost non-existent. So supposedly, after the full year working for a government company and being assigned government apartment, you would not be thinking about that portion, right? You didn't have a mortgage or any leftovers or financial responsibilities, but the Social Security, so-called, was very low. The budget would hardly cover the food and the bills on the utilities. I don't know any retiree who would continue to travel, especially international travel was not an option in Soviet Union at all. So the domestic travel, as complicated and cumbersome it was still outside of the typical retiree budget. So people often engage in all kind of black market activity. On the train station, you would often see old ladies selling flowers or a few apples or, you know, things like that to complement their income. So retirement was pretty gloomy period with no leisure and a lot of extra work just to survive.
So are you saying that in the USSR, you worked during all of your productive years and the government barely gives you any compensation, but they give you a house to live in, they give you food, you get your clothing and your medical care. And then even after you're now productive, the government gives you your housing and helps you out with your food and clothing and shelter. That sounds a lot like back in the day on a plantation where someone who looked like me would work in the field during his productive years, and this guy, this master, would take care of me and my family, clothe us, house us, provide us with food. And then when I was too old to work, he'd have to do the same thing. He had to clothe me and my, family, provide us with food during my retirement. So for somebody looking like me,
sounds like 1612 projects very much.
Right. So for someone like me, I don't want nothing to do with socialism, and I don't understand why these Marxist socialists are marching in the street looking like me, talking about we want more socialism, when me and Mark have clearly shown that the score is socialism 0, capitalism was it 6?
It's already.
So far, capitalism is kicking butt and taking names. And the point of this was to just, I guess, elevate the conversation, not just to say socialism is bad, capitalism is bad, but give some perspective to it. Mark lived in it. I've read about it, researched it. I've lived in a Detroit, Michigan, it was basically ran as a socialist community within a capitalist country. And I'm pretty sure no one listening to this podcast today wants to end up in Detroit's 1995, right? So we're gonna cut it short there. We want you to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can always comment in a comment section. But again, socialism's bad. Quit marching in the streets for socialism. And if you don't know why you're marching in the streets for socialism, there's plenty of books out there for you to read as far as what socialism is, or you can listen to Mark. All right. So until the next time, hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself, and we'll be back soon.
Bye.